Welcome back to the Two Man Advantage podcast. I'm Nick Diesel along with Kevin McShann and Darren DiCarlo. We're moving to the Detroit Tigers. And the first place Detroit Tigers could have been more than 1.5 games.
For now.
But it is not.
You mean the most frustrating team to watch in baseball.
What bothers me is that JD Martinez, Martinez hits a 3-run jack in the top of the ninth, and it's like,
But before that, let's take it back to the Tigers couldn't do, pardon my French, shit with Ricky Nolasco on the mound for
Ricky frickin' Nolasco.
Exactly. And Glenn Perkins is a pretty decent, closer. He closed out the All-Star game for the Twins in Minnesota. And I don't know what the hell Ron Gardenhire is thinking when JD is the hottest hitter in September so far, without a doubt. And then you have, why don't you just walk him? You have an empty base. No, you want to pitch to him, and he's going to make you pay. And that's exactly what he did. That's a good part of the story. Let's talk about the bad part of the story.
Nathan. Let's just keep it simple here. Let's keep it G-rated for all the young listeners out there.
All little kids out there. Joe Nathan.
Hey, all little kids out there.
Little kids out there.
Yeah.
If you heard about Joe Nathan, then you know exactly what we're talking about. Joe Nathan, first off, throws rejectamenta walk in the bottom of the ninth. Your closer.
Kiss of death.
That's it. I knew right there. This is like, it's going to be tied for sure. Because he walks this guy again. And then Ezekiel Carrera. What the hell are you doing? Don't they teach you that in like the first day of outfield training?
Now, is that on Osmus for having him out there in that crucial situation? It should have been Don Kelly. Should have been Rajay Davis.
Don Kelly was at third or at first. He pitch run for Miggy. But yeah, so like you really don't have that. But like, why don't you move out JD Martinez? Why did you defensive replacement him? Like, come on.
It's easy to go back. I understand.
It was frustrating, Nick. It was just I was watching that game and I was like, you have got to be kidding me right now. It's like this is the 7th time this happened. 7.
So say he only blows 2 of those 7. At 5 wins.
We're at least
90 wins right now.
3-4 games ahead.
Easy. Kevin, give it to me.
I do think that, just as an aside note, that I do think J.D. Martinez will be your starting left fielder next year. I do.
You think?
Well, I think...
the 25 jacks and the 80 RBIs didn't give it away? 23 jacks, I think.
23 jacks.
I do think...
He's going to have 25.
I do think Andy Derricks is on borrowed time here as a Tiger. Yeah, that's right. But as for where the Tigers stand right now, I mean, it's all right in front of them. They run the rest of their schedule with divisional opponents. Obviously, this weekend series against Kansas City will be a big one.
We'll be hitting on that next question.
So, I mean, it's right in front of them to seize the moment and get what they need out of this season, considering how inconsistent they've been this year. They still have everything they want to achieve in front of them, and now it's just time for them to do it.
Do they go into Kansas City, and do they take care of business, and are they AL Central champions?
Well,
we've been talking about this all year long, and we keep saying they're going to make the playoffs.
You got to take it one game at a time. I know that's the old cliche saying.
What are you, Max Scherzer?
No, but it's true. And there was a lot of speculation that Brad Ausmus, I think, let's go back to the Minnesota game. Brad Ausmus, I think he's over-managing. And that's causing him to lose games. Jim Leyland had his own style, and I think Brad is doing too much. Just go with your gut. There's no time to overthink. But you know how the media jumps on him every decision he makes. So that's one thing. But anyways, there was a lot of speculation that David Price was going to pitch Friday for the opener in Kansas City. There was talks that they were gonna switch it up, but no. Brad Ausmus said he's pitching tonight. He's prepared for the Twins, and it'll be the Rock Lobster, Kyle Lobstein.
He's pitched well. I went Saturday against the Indians, the 27th, when Alex Avila hit that 2-run jack.
That was
which
clutch.
Awesome.
That was clutch.
Also, the couple catches from Torrey Hunter. I got to give my boy Torrey a shout out. The place went crazy when he did that, and it seemed to really pick them up.
Yeah.
But Lobstein pitched well. He kept them in the game. He pitched 5-6 innings, and that's what you're looking for from him. So if he can do that on the road in Kansas City, they're going to have an opportunity to win. You got to hit. You got to hit.
But just think that's going to be a pressure for this young guy.
Hey.
It's going to be a playoff game over there in Kansas City. The fans will be out in droves, and it will be like a playoff game.
Perfect.
for
because
these
you know
3
what?
games.
He might be coming out of the bullpen as a left-hander.
It's always a possibility.
Kevin, what do you think exactly is going to happen at the end of all this? When the dust settles at the end of the Royal Series, will the Detroit Tigers have the AL Central crown on again?
Well, I do think that the Tigers will win 2 out of 3 this weekend. The Tigers are a veteran bunch who have won in Kansas City a whole bunch of times. This is new territory for the Royals. They're
going to make the wild card, I think, regardless, because Seattle would be the only threat, but I really don't see Seattle getting in there.
Oakland's usually Oakland is falling off the pace. My God!
But I think they're still going to make it as well because of that big series against Seattle that they happen to take a couple games out of. Carry on, Kev.
To answer your original question, I think that the Tigers will eventually win the division, showing just how mediocre the AL Central actually is.
Well, if you think mediocre, look at the AL East. That's mediocre.
Well, it's been, Orioles, who the Tigers would play if the playoffs started today, I have like a 9 or 10 game lead in that division.
But they play the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just for the Blue Jays fans out there.
Wow, the Blue Jays are all but dead, but that's okay.
Oh, no, they're dead.
But for the Tigers, I do think they'll win the division. I do think that Brad Ausmus, as Darren said, is learning on the fly. I do think as a first-year manager, he's cost them about 5 or 10 games that Jim Leyland probably would have won otherwise. But that's learning on the job, right? But to answer your question, Nick, I do think the Tigers will have a good weekend, and they have the majority of the rest of their games at home. So I do think they'll win the division by 2 or 3 games.
I would agree. I think last night was a golden opportunity to take another game,
especially since Kansas City lost.
The Tigers snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory.
Yeah, pretty much.
They did.
Yeah.
Now should Joe Nathan be the closer for the rest of the year?
No.
Sorry.
That's it.
Do you think that no, this is it?
If
7 times you're done.
Well, if
7
you really,
chances you're done.
We've been talking. If you had asked me a week ago, I was starting to get back on Nathan Train. He seemed to pitch well.
Yeah.
He's gotten the job done.
Yeah.
But this is the most crucial.
These are crucial games that you need to do.
And
you're getting paid $10 million a year.
Listen, you've already allowed him to give up 7 games. You can't allow him to give up the division.
Right.
I think they're going to go into Kansas City and take 2 or 3. There's no reason why they shouldn't. They got the better pitching rotation. They have Miggy Cabrera. They got Victor Martinez. One leg, but he's been hitting bombs still.
Well,
so I think they're going to go in there and take care of business. I think the Royals will get in the wild card. And for all you Blue Jays fans out there and Trailer Park Boys fans, we're having a dirty Blue Jay burger right now, just so you guys know. It's a dirty Blue Jay burger. Yeah, sorry, I had to do that to you guys.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but okay.
Trust me, and if you're a Trailer Park Boys fan,
Trailer Park Boys thing?
Okay.
I don't
Randy,
watch it, so
he wears no shirt and likes cheeseburgers. But
I'll take your word for it. Okay.
Okay. Any last thoughts before we wrap this up, and then we're going to move on to some NFL nonsense.
Yeah, just pray to God that the Tigers can hold an 8-0 lead without going to their bullpen this weekend.
Our Father who art in heaven.
Just hope that their pitching rotation can go at least 7 to 8 innings. That Joe Nathan isn't. Joe Nathan is even an afterthought, especially this weekend against Kansas.
Okay, so stick with us. We're right back, and we have some Adrian Peterson talk. Yes, I know. Cover your ears.